Hello everybody, a very warm welcome to you all. My name is Mo. I am the Bearded Gamer. Welcome back to the channel. As usual, I hope you guys are having a great day and keeping safe and well. Now in this video, I am going to be bringing you guys my top 5 best decks of the format for December 2022. Now this deck has been created based on research that I've done and conversations that I've had with experts within my Pokemon community. Guys, if you feel differently to the ordering of the decks, you have differences of opinion, please do put them in the comment section down below. As usual, if you want to see more Pokemon TCG content, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, share the video with all of your friends as well. I would really appreciate. Let's get straight to the list. In fifth place, I've gone for Lost Zone Giratina. Now, I do think this deck is extremely powerful, but I don't think it's as powerful as the other Lost Zone variant that I will be talking about later on in the video. Now you've got Giratina V and VStar, who is an absolute powerhouse of a Pokemon with this Lost Impact attack, which is going to take out any Pokemon V-Star. So you got your two prize cards there, and obviously it's Star Requiem attack. To get 10 or more cards in the Lost Zone is not impossible to do within the first few turns of yours, and you're basically knocking out any Pokemon, no matter how bulky they are. And if you're playing against like V Max or Korean V Max, sorry, Mew V Max or Korean V Max, you're taking 3 prize cards with just this ability, and it is extremely powerful. But in addition to this, you got attackers like Cramorant, you've got Radiant Greninja with Moonlight Shuriken doing 90 damage to 2 of your opponent's Pokemon. Now let's not forget, if you're playing like a mirror match, if you're playing against like Mew V Max and they've got, I don't know, like a Meleotta, you're taking them out and you're taking a prize card with you as well. And also Sableye, great attacker with Lost Mine. Again, 10 or more cards in the Lost Zone, not impossible to do within the first few turns. And you're putting 12 damage counters. Now, that can be spread across the Pokemon. So, for example, I don't know if you're playing against the Origin Form Palkia and they've got like a Sobble. You can basically spread out, take like a Sobble out, put damage counters on another, and they all just have great synergy because with Cramorant doing 110 damage, Sableye doing a 120, you can just combine them together and your damage output can be quite high. Mirage Gate does speed things up. You got cards like Battle VIP Pass that gets the right Pokemon onto the bench, but not only that, it's just great fodder for the Lost Zone. Afterwards, you got cards like Scoop Up Net that really help, Comfy, getting a number of Comfy effects off. Capture Energy also is great help within the deck, and so is Training Card as well. But all in all, I do think that this is a powerful deck and definitely deserved fifth place in my list. In fourth place, I've gone for Regigigas. Now, Regigigas is an extremely powerful deck, and honestly, this deck is it's just got a lot going for it. Really, you got Regigigas with Gigaton Break Attack plus Choice Spell. You're basically taking out every Pokemon V-Man. You got Regidrago in here with this giant Fangs attack does 160. Again, you combine it with things like Choice Spell, you're doing 190. You're taking out things like Mew V. You're taking out things like Genesect, you're taking out things like Luminion as well, and obviously his Dragon Horde ability is extremely powerful. You got Regieleki with its Terra Spark attack, you're doing 40 damage to 2 of your opponent's bench Pokemon. But I think the one that's probably more powerful is this, doing 120 damage to one of your opponent's benched Pokemon. And let's not forget Regieleki, really powerful against obviously probably the top deck, which is Lugia. Registeel is decent, Regice, and honestly, all these other cards that you have within the deck just really, really work well. Mani's great disruption, Professor's research, try and get things into the discard pile as quickly as possible. Serena, the deck can now gust because most versions were not playing any boss's orders, but just having a couple of Serene in here where you have the discard effect, but you also have the gust effect as well, just makes it very, very versatile. Now, I think one of the great things about the deck is obviously Path to the Peak. We're playing 4 copies of it simply to shut down, things like Mew V Max, to shut down Lugia, and honestly, it really, really does hurt. Decks like that who really rely on their Pokemon abilities in order to obviously win games. So honestly, I genuinely do think this is an extremely powerful deck and genuinely deserves a fourth spot within my list. In third place, I've gone for Lost Zone Sableye. Now, I genuinely do think that this is probably the best Lost Zone variant. And if you have a look at the deck, we've got Oranguru, we've got Snorlax, Staples. The Raikou V is simply in here to obviously deal damage to Lugia, V-Star. We've got the four Comfy, Saberlight, extremely powerful with the 12 damage counter that you're going to put out there. I think the one addition that makes it extremely powerful is Aqua Storm. So, Kyogre. Discard the top five cards of your deck, choose two of your opponent's best Pokemon. It does 50 damage for each energy card. So again, you can be dealing a lot of damage. Now, there is Lost Zone Sablezard as well, where they play in like Magma Basin and Radiant Charizard. You can, take probably Radiant Greninja out and maybe a couple of others and put that variant in. But I genuinely do think, obviously, we're seeing a couple of more lists playing Kyogre in. And yeah, it is nuts. Kyogre is nuts because if you're discarding three energy cards, you're doing like 150 damage. And we've got cards like energy recycler in here. So shuffle up five basic energy from your discard pile into your deck. So basically, you can just keep on going. Honestly, you thin out your deck quite quickly with this through obviously Chorus's experiment and whatnot. But that's because you want to get those extremely powerful cards in play by obviously getting cards from your deck into the Lost Zone. I genuinely do think this is probably the best Lost Zone variant. Some people may disagree with me because of Radiant Charizard not being in the list. But yeah, with cards like Cramorant, Sableye, and then obviously having Raikou in here, something that is basically an out to Lugia Vista, I think is extremely powerful. So yeah, I genuinely do think this is a top deck and deserves the third spot within my list. In second place, we've got my favorite deck, which is Mew V Max Genesect. And this deck, honestly, is just super powerful, super amazing. Now, I've gone for the Fusion Strike build. Now, the reason why I've gone for the Fusion Strike build with Fusion Strike Energy and Elisa Sparkle is because, well, if you're going second and you've got Meleotta and you open with Elisa Sparkle and a Fusion Strike Energy, you can do 210 damage on your opening turn if you are going second, and you can potentially knock out a Lugia V Star. And this deck is super powerful. It's also super versatile. The Fusion Strike build, I do believe, is more versatile than the 4 double turbo energy build. And the versatility, I genuinely think, is what's needed, especially in this format where you're going to have a number of different decks vying for that top spot. With Lugia out there, with the Lost Zone variants out there, with Regigigas out there. I genuinely think versatility is very, very important. Serena is really powerful simply because it's a card that just gives you more. You can discard off this and it helps and it synergizes with Genesect V. You got Forest Seal Stone that gives you the V Star ability that this deck didn't have. So you can basically search for anything at the time. Well, whatever it is that you're going to be needing in the stage of the game. And in cards like Lost City, having this here really, really hurts decks like Regigigas as well. So I do think this deck is super powerful, super versatile, and genuinely is the second best deck in the format. I don't think there's any doubt about what the best deck of the format is, and that is Lugia V Star. This recently won the tournament in Sao Paulo, and I did a deck list on Tom Reklev, who had the winning list, and this is the list that I've gone with. And this deck is just super powerful. It's very aggressive as well, especially in its potential turn one plays. You get Lugia V out there, summon, evolve it into Lugia V Star, get rid of your Archeops, put your Archeops on your bench. But not only that, having cards like Yveltal is amazing because, your active Pokemon is knocked out. You're playing against like Kurium, you're playing against Mew V Max, you're taking three prize cards. Radiant Charizard is an absolutely fantastic late game card where, again, if you equip it with something like Choice Belt, you're doing 280 damage, you're knocking out a V Star. So this is really powerful, even in a mirror matchup as well. And obviously, we got Dunsparce here to stop things like the Reggie Ilecki Vikavolt decks, the decks that are playing Raikou as well. Luminion V just basically searching for the support card that we need. Pumpkaboo, get rid of those pesky stadium cards in play that hurt the deck, like Path to the Peak. Manaphy's Wave Veil effect is super important. But yeah, this deck, sorry, is amazingly strong, amazingly powerful, very aggressive. You even got cards like Stoutland V. This basically deals with those lost zone decks. Like, get rid of Comfy. You equip it with like Choice Spell, powerful energy. You're getting rid of Comfy, who's doing all these flower selecting abilities. Just left, right, and center, and yeah, you're getting two prize cards for it. That's why we play Stoutland V. But this deck is just amazing and strong. I think one thing that is interesting is to see how this deck can evolve, because there are some decks that don't even play Dunsparce whatsoever. So I think as the meta evolves, it'll be nice to see how this deck kind of evolves, because it plays cards that counter against what people think will counter it, if that even makes sense, if I've said that correctly, which is why it's just such an amazing deck. And I think, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it grows, and how obviously the players, start changing variations of cards, and, testing deck theory to see, what would probably be the most ideal and optimum build based on obviously the meta at the time.